Hey, welcome back to Star Technology, where in the last video, we got IV power properly set up, meaning we've pretty much unlocked all of IV to be able to work towards. And at the end of last video, I asked you guys what I should go on with next, because I'm really not sure what to work towards. There's quite a lot of promising things. I could work towards the next power tier, I could work towards the large sieve, I could do whatever this stuff is, but the general consensus, alongside just the usual cleanup suggestions, was, yeah, get the alloy blast smelter and as many of the multi-blocks as I can manage. It was pretty commonly brought up that I shouldn't double up on these ones. These ones can function pretty well. The only downside to keeping these is they can't be overclocked, but I don't really care about that. These ones are really, really fast anyway. So if it means it simplifies how many multi-blocks I need to make, I will take that. So here I've marked down pretty much all the machines that I'm going to need to get the multi-blocks I want. Because after eliminating, well, there's some machines that I really don't see me needing the efficiency increase of a multi-block. Like the brewing vat. I haven't used a brewery in 30 episodes. Maybe I'll start using it soon, but even if I do, just a normal IV machine is going to be fine. And things like the polarizer as well. Sure, I use it somewhat often, but it's not the bottleneck whenever it's being used. So that only really leaves a handful left. The two assemblers, they're a bit out of my range right now. And these are the only one of these multi-blocks that can't be overclocked, because that would lead to so many sequence break shenanigans. The circuit assembling facility is way out of my range. And the assembling factory, it's not going to be much better. And it's also expensive. So that kind of just leaves the engraving laser, maybe the cutting saw, the material press. Ooh, I didn't notice the distillery. I don't think I need this, but this is on my radar. It could be very handy. The crystallization chamber, the solidification array, the chemical bath, and maybe the arc smelter. I didn't mark it down because I don't need the arc smelter to be that much better right now, but this is a pretty good machine to upgrade. It's not an immediate goal, but it's likely an inevitability. So all of these need the alloy blast smelter, so then that's the first thing to work on. Ooh, I am allowed to use any coil. I'm not sure what the different coils would do, maybe more efficiency? I'm just going to use my spare nichrome anyway. So that's the first goal of this video, the alloy blast smelter. And I'll probably try and hook it up to some sort of automation as well. So it looks like the main thing that I'm missing here is the tantalum carbide. And I was going to say that's shared with a lot of these other machines, but it's only shared with one other. Well, I should probably make a recipe for it anyway. How expensive is this? Tantalum and carbon? How do I get tantalum? Tantalite. I probably don't have access to that. Never mind, I can just get tantalite. Gravel and a diamond mesh. Yeah, I have 14,000 of it. Okay. Give me all of it. I should mention before I get too ahead of myself, on my own I have upgraded everything to be on IV power now. Well, not everything, but some of the more important stuff. And I've added a bunch more solar panels too. And it's just barely able to keep up. Right, that's 30 stacks of tantalite. And all of it needs to go in the electrolyzer. Right, that's a lot of tantalum. Let's see. I'll just make 20 for now. I might need more. Depends how many heat vents I'm going to need later on. It's just going to take a while to mix it together. Yeah, it's only 10 seconds in the blast furnace. That's not so bad. Yeah, okay, that works. Ah, no wonder it's not making any more. The vacuum freezer doesn't have any power. Just needed to wait for the blast furnaces to stop. Right, well, I only need 4 plates for the time being, because I've got other stuff to make. I may as well queue up the other things in the recipe, but I need an EV alloy smelter. So I need nichrome wires for the first time in a while. The other stuff's not that bad. And the nichrome's also not that bad. It just might take a little while. There's the EV alloy smelter, and there's the alloy blast smelter. At least the control block. Now I need to make the big multi-block. The hatches and things are nothing. Actually, how many things do I need at a time? Never too much, but just in case I'll go with an MV hatch. Right, that should be all the hatches I need. I've got a couple spare quadruple input hatches, and I made the MV input bus for the 9 slots. I don't know if I need the EV output hatch though. I'll just do an LV one. Yeah, I'm only outputting a handful of buckets at a time, if even. Okay, well if that's hatches taken care of, how about the other stuff? The coils, I'll just use my spare nichrome. 24 of it. And the heat vents. Titanium rotors aren't that bad. Tantalum carbide plates, already proven they're not that bad. Molybdenum disilicide? How do I pronounce that? What does this need? Oh, silicon and molybdenum. Piece of cake. I still don't have a recipe for molybdenum, but I've got plenty. And it's not that bad to get more if I need to. So if I need 12 heat vents, that's going to be 48 titanium, 24 tantalum carbide, 24 molybdenum disilicide. And how much do I need for the long rods? 1 ingot, so another 6. So 30 molybdenum disilicide. That's not too bad. Need another 8 tantalum carbide as well. We got 16. And then the titanium fan I can make myself. Now I want to turn all the tantalum carbide into plates, and 24 of the molybdenum. Then 6 of that goes in the lathe as well. Turn it into long rods, double up the plates, and then that's 12 heat vents. So now the last thing, the high temperature smelting casing. What does this need? Tungsten carbide frame, I can do that. HSLA steel? And titanium carbide. I'm gonna need a lot of it. So titanium carbide, yeah, titanium and carbon. I'm gonna need to macerate my titanium ingots to get the dust, but that's not so bad. Then the HSLA steel, this one takes a bit more. I need Invar, vanadium, titanium, and molybdenum. But none of these seem that bad. I'm really gonna stress my titanium supplies, but I can still manage this. So I'll start with the titanium carbide, because that's probably the easiest one. And then the HSLA steel. I might have to make this one backwards. Yeah, because it's using the wrong dust. Oh, but this one doesn't even need to go in the vacuum freezer. That just gets smelted directly. So now, how many resources am I going to need for this? I need 34 casings. So that's 68 titanium carbide, 34 HSLA steel, and 34 tungsten carbide. So I'll just order all of those up, and hopefully they don't take too long. I might need to babysit it a bit so that it actually works in the mixer. Okay, I have needed to babysit this a little bit, because there's a couple recipe conflicts with running all of these at the same time. Namely, all of the titanium for the HSLA steel got turned into titanium carbide, but that seems to be fixed. So I'm just going to be running the blast furnaces for a little while now, and my power's not great. So while I wait, I'm just going to make a new area for the blast furnace. Well, not the blast furnace, the blast smelter. There we go, a bit more space here. Although I am thinking a lot of these large machines are going to need the clean room. So I'm probably going to need a large clean room. And I knew this was always going to have to happen. So for now, I'll put the alloy blast smelter here, because I'm really not bothered to move the clean room yet. But I'm going to just make a huge clean room, like this entire platform kind of huge. Actually, that might not even hold like 3 of the machines. But I can try. Because this is what, 15 by 15? I could do that for a clean room. Make it like 9 blocks tall. It'd be expensive as all hell, but I could do it. But that's not something to do right now. I'll just put the alloy blast smelter here and move it later. Right, well, it looks like all of my ingots are done. I want to put the tungsten carbide through the lathe and all the others through the bender. Tungsten carbide rods get turned into frames, and the plates just stay as they are. And I don't have an assembler on 6, so I'll just temporarily change one of these so that I can craft all of the smelting casings very quickly. And that should be everything that I need for the alloy blast smelter. Ah, right, I need to do energy stuff. I need 2 IV energy hatches. I need enough shellite for wires so that I can get another converter. A little bit more to actually connect it. Right, there's the converter and some spare wires. And there's the 2 energy hatches. And just to double check, yes, that is everything that I need. So let's get it in place. We need to put all of the hatches on the bottom. They can go pretty much anywhere. Oh wait, there's no output bus. And then output hatch. I think I might put the input around the side. Maybe the output in the middle? No, that wouldn't work so well. I'll just put it there. Then I'll finish off the bottom bit with the high temperature casings. Then a layer of coils, a layer of vents, another layer of coils, and a final layer of casings with a muffler hatch and a maintenance hatch. And that all looks to be working. Yes, it's all changed color. So I'll just connect up the power to it as well and fix up the maintenance. And I think that should be it. It should just be fine. So now I can start getting some of these ingots. I've already got 3 of them that apparently needed an alloy blast smelter. Maybe they're easier in the blast smelter? I don't know. And I don't think I'll just make all of the ingots right away. I mean, I could maybe make 1. There's some things that might be a bit hard. I think I'm also going to need to modify the vacuum freezer to allow for molten stuff. Maybe even make another vacuum freezer. It would mean covering this up though. So then maybe I put the vacuum freezer here next to the blast smelter? Actually, are there any recipes in the blast smelter that wouldn't immediately be turned into an ingot? A couple of them. So then it's probably worth it to put it into the ME system instead of immediately into a vacuum freezer. But I could get away with putting a vacuum freezer next to this. Either way, I'm going to need another one. For this one, I'll just use EV energy. I'm not really bothered to make more IV hatches right now. I'm mostly just going to need to get a bunch more aluminium machine casings. But aluminium really isn't that expensive. So that's probably everything that I need. I've got spare EV converters. I think I'm going to move the blast smelter. So I'm going to need some more space for this vacuum freezer. I'm not going to move it over by much. Just a couple blocks to make sure I've got space. There we go. That should be this all set up now. Oh, right. Maintenance hatch again. There we go. So now I'm just going to connect this up to the ME system again. There, that should be that. Oh, there. Connected. It's a bit of a spaghetti wiring, but it's connected. So that should now let me start making all of these ingots. And I was expecting this to be done a bit sooner. I wasn't expecting to have to do as much as I did. So I'm running a bit low on time. I was going to try making some of these machines, but I think I'm just going to save it for another time so I can do all of them at once. So I think I'm just going to set up recipes for all of these ingots now. Because I can do that in the time that's left. And that should make it quicker for me to make a bunch of these multi-blocks. Starting with Incolloy MA956. Very memorable names. Then there's Stellite 100, Titanium Tungsten Carbide, Xeron 100, Ultimate, which I've definitely made before. Yeah. I'm guessing it's easier in the alloy blast smelter. I mean, it's the same materials as the mixer. It's probably about the same speed. I might just do this the dust away then. Then there's Hastelloy C276. Back to the fun names, I guess. And then another Hastelloy. Then Miraging Steel 300? Maraging? I don't know. And last, Watertight Steel. So a lot of new ingots. And most of them are just going to consist of the molten metal in the vacuum freezer and whatever the recipe for the molten metal is. Why is this on 14? And these metals take so long. That's 2 minutes for a bucket's worth. Almost 2 buckets actually. It's probably a bunch of ingots. Actually, yeah. That's more than 10 ingots worth, so actually this is probably fine. And it looks like 14 is the one for all of them that take a gas to be quicker. So I guess I'll just configure it to 14. Oh, never mind. The titanium tungsten carbide is on 12. I think for now I'll just switch the circuits, but I'm gonna need a somewhat more robust solution later. God, the Xeron's on 15. Oh, I think I understand this. There's 5 unique items in there. so it's 5 by default, and the recipe that requires gas is another 10. Oh my god, this one takes so long. And it requires RTM alloy? Okay, maybe a lot of these are actually out of my range. Niobium? What is that? I mean, I'm still gonna make the recipe for all of these, but I'm just gonna have to remember the ones that don't work so well. God, the further down the line, the longer these take. Even with the gas. That's more than 5 minutes. Well, that's all of the recipes. The last thing I'll need is an ingot mold to put in the vacuum freezer. But then I'm just gonna put all of these recipes in here and see how many of them I can actually make. Well, actually, I can check here. The ink alloy, RTM alloy, stellite, RTM, titanium tungsten carbide, RTM. All of them require RTM alloy coils. And also, a lot of these recipes require niobium. How do I get that? Macerating purified tantalite has a chance to give it. Same with pyrolusite. Tantalite also does it in the centrifuge. Pyrochlor does it in the electrolyzer. I do have pyrochlor, so I'll just get a bunch of it that way. That'll be enough for the time being. But yeah, the main thing that I'm gonna need if I want to get any of these ingots at all is a bunch of RTM alloy coil blocks. I think I need another 24. Don't I have a recipe for liquid nichrome? Nah, I'm not sure what's wrong with this. But these RTM alloy coils are gonna take so long to craft. I just don't think I have time for that. So then I don't think I'm gonna be making these ingots. Ooh, hang on. The molybdenum disilicide can make a coil. I'm guessing these coils are better than RTM? But they don't seem to be showing up in the list of coils. Oh, they're only usable in 3 different multi-blocks. The arc smelter, the brewing vat, and the chemical plant. Okay, so that's probably not something that I can do right now. Well, I can do it, it's just not a solution to this problem. I think I'm just gonna have to wait for the RTM alloy coils. Well, I better make all of this then. I'm gonna need a bunch more vanadium steel, a bunch more nichrome, and a bunch of chalcopyrite. I need to turn all the vanadium steel into sheets, or foils rather. I need to put all the nichrome through the extractor, and then I'm just gonna have to wait for a while for the coils to be made. And hopefully I won't have to babysit the recipe for too much. And maybe now that everything's upgraded to IV, it should go through much quicker. Okay, I've got all the coils now. It only took me like 30 minutes of waiting. But now I can replace these coils, and then that should let me start making some of the ingots. So I should be able to make the ink alloy. It is on configuration 14 right now, so this should just work fine. I can go check. Oh wait, no, it's on 12 right now. On 14? Yeah, okay. It's doing something. It's gonna take a long time. Oh, god damn it. I'm not producing enough power? Nothing else is running? Hang on. Okay, yeah, that was the problem. For some reason, sometimes the flux points just stop providing power, and relogging fixes it. Well, this should work to make that ingot. There's another one that needed configuration 12. That would be the stellite. So I can get that going as well, because this one's nearly done. And it should... Yes, it goes straight in there, and it just makes it. Okay, I'm just waiting on tungsten to get the stellite. I just want to see it, put the items in here. Oh, yep, it did it. I just went back to make sure it didn't get stuck. Okay, that's now making the stellite. The next one is the titanium tungsten. That one needs configuration 12. So I'll start the recipe going, and then I'll just change the circuit. And while I'm here, I think ultimate is a good low-hanging fruit. Yeah, it's done already. Okay, that's doing the titanium tungsten. Next is the xeron. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix all of these recipes because I've got the wrong niobium. Right, that's that. I swapped it over. So then I can queue up the xeron. And that one's on configuration 15. And yep, that's going. The next one is the Hastelloy. That one's got no problems. And that's on configuration 16. So that one's cooking up now too. And there's another Hastelloy to go through as well, also on 16. And that one's going too. And then last there's the maraging steel and the watertight steel. And both of them are on 15. Although it's put all the ingredients in before the previous recipe finished. so I'd rather not risk another recipe conflict. So I'll just do one of them. Oh, it just had to wait a little while for the gases to work. Okay, I'll put the rest of it in, and it should just be fine. Okay, then I just wait for the ingots to all go through the vacuum freezer. Okay, I should now have all of the ingots, and it should complete a ton of quests. Right. That's now properly opened up most of the multi-blocks. The arc smelter and the brewing vat are both locked behind the molybdenum disilicide coils, but everything else it says I have access to now. But I don't have time to get started on that. I think I'm done with this video. I'm a little over time. I had to wait on the blast smelter a bit longer than I thought I'd need to, but it's fine. Either way, I think I've got some pretty good progress done this video. The alloy blast smelter is a pretty integral machine, and probably the most important step towards getting any of these large machines. So next time I'll probably work on getting all of the base elite machines, and then trying to get some of the large machines. And they're all going to be pretty expensive. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. Especially once I can get the parallel control hatches. But they're a bit far away, and this seems to be where I need the quantum star. That's something much later down the line. I'm happy with this progress. We got all of the ingots from the alloy blast smelter. And I think that's all I have to say, so I'm going to call this video here. Bye.